In the summer of 1858, London smelled so unbelievably bad that Parliament nearly fled the city. The stench came from a river that had become an open sewer. And that smell, disgusting, unbearable, and impossible to ignore, ended up saving tens of thousands of lives. Victorian London was the largest city on Earth, and it was choking on its own waste. Its population had exploded, but its sanitation hadn't changed for centuries. Human waste collected in cesspits beneath homes, and increasingly, it was flushed, thanks to the growing popularity of the flush toilet, straight into the drains. And those drains, designed only to carry away rainwater, emptied directly into the River Thames, the same river the city drew much of its drinking water from. Then came a brutal heat wave. Through June and July of 1858, temperatures soared and the water level dropped, leaving the Thames a sluggish, reeking mass of raw sewage baking under the sun. The smell was overwhelming. It seeped through the city. And crucially, and here's the delicious part, the Houses of Parliament sit directly on the riverbank. The curtains of the Commons were reportedly soaked in chemicals to try to mask the stench. Members were said to flee committee rooms, gagging, unable to work. The men who governed the British Empire could not escape the smell of their own river. Now, here's the twist. Most people at the time believed disease was spread by foul air, a theory called miasma. They thought the smell itself was what killed you. That was wrong. The real killer, as physician John Snow had already argued, was contaminated water carrying cholera. Londoners were drinking their own sewage, and cholera outbreaks had killed tens of thousands. But the mistaken fear of bad air, combined with a parliament that could no longer breathe, produced exactly the right result. Terrified and disgusted, politicians finally acted, and they acted fast, pushing through funding for a colossal new sewer system in a matter of weeks. The man they handed it to was an engineer named Joseph Bazalgette, and what he built was one of the greatest engineering achievements of the century. He designed a vast network of intercepting sewers, over 100 miles of main sewers, and far more smaller ones running beneath the city, catching the waste before it reached central London and carrying it far downstream. He built enormous pumping stations and used millions upon millions of bricks. The tunnels are beautiful. Soaring, arched, cathedral-like chambers built to last. And in his most inspired decision, when calculating the pipe size needed, he took his best estimate and then doubled the diameter, reasoning that unforeseen growth would come. That single choice is why his sewers still serve London today, well over a century later. The effect was profound. By separating London's sewage from its drinking water, the system did what no amount of good intentions had managed. It broke the cycle of waterborne disease. The devastating cholera epidemics that had ravaged the city receded. Bazalgette's sewers are credited with saving an enormous number of lives, and the embankments he built along the river to house the sewers reshaped the very face of London, giving the city some of its most famous riverside streets. There's a genuinely strange lesson here. For years, London knew people were dying, thousands and thousands of them, mostly poor, mostly in neighborhoods the powerful never visited. Nothing happened. It took a smell, an inconvenience to the men in charge, to force change. Sometimes progress doesn't come from evidence or compassion. It comes when a problem finally reaches the people who can fix it. Right now, deep beneath London, Victorian brickwork, built during a heatwave in 1858, is still quietly doing its job. It exists because the Thames once smelled so bad the Parliament couldn't stand it. The most disgusting summer in the city's history turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to it.